Hey everyone, how are you doing? So today, promised in my other video, my last video I posted, I said that I would show how, well, I actually said it in the description, that how I would show you my process of how I came up with the design, and that is what I'm going to do today. So let us jump into Dimension and let's get started. So here we are in Dimension. This is the finished product. This is what it looks like after it's done. Well, actually, is it this one or one of them? Yeah. So this is the finished product, and yeah, let's just go outside and let me show you. So this is my female model. I think I was gonna call her Z. Yeah, Z. So this is Z, my female model. So basically, before I started this project, I wanted to have something close to a real life dimension, you know, with the sizing of the furniture and the walls, you know, something that's close to realistic of an actual living room or dining room, if I should say. And so I started off just finding a model, and so the standard, I think the average American woman's height is about 63.7 inches, and that's about 161 centimeters. But I gave Z, where is it? I gave Z a height of 162 centimeters. So, yeah. And so I just had her somewhere inside, you know, or around my work, just to help keep an eye on the proportions and the height. And the next step that I did was to find the standard height of a wall. And so most rooms, most homes, the standard height of a wall is about 8 foot tall, which is about 243.84 centimeters. So I did mine, what did I put mine at? I put mine at as 239, so I did add a little bit on top of that. But anywhere from there, anywhere from 8 foot going up, that's totally fine, unless you're designing a doghouse, then that's completely different. So yeah, so I got the proportions out, built my walls, just a simple box, just 4 walls working as is. So after I got my walls done, my models, the chairs, the what do you call it, the plant, the books, the table, these ones I got from Turbosquid. And so here are a couple of resources that are really helpful, which would be good for you guys if you're interested. And I'm sure maybe some of you already know of these resources, but to start off, for my 3D models, I just went to Turbosquid. Really awesome models, really good quality. So what I search for, I just type a name that whatever I'm looking for. If it's a table, if it's a chair, just put it up here. And so just to clarify, these resources that I'm showing, this video is not sponsored by any of them, okay? So this is totally just me showing you the resources that I use. I'm not getting anything from showing you about them. Yeah, so you pretty much just search what you're looking for. And so Dimension uses OBJ file format. So anytime after you type whatever you're looking for, just make sure you click on the format for OBJ, and that would help filter out. With the price, I usually just go with the free, because they have a ton of really free, nice models. So yeah, check them out. Just play around. You know, you could even use a Game of Thrones. I think this one, you have to pay for this one, $164. So if you want to spend that, that's totally fine. The next one that I actually had to subscribe for was Substance Source. So in Substance Source, they have a lot of really good materials, like really high quality materials. I mean, they also have a whole Substance Source product range where you can actually build your own materials. You can play around and make your own stuff. But for those of us who don't really have enough time, I think just getting these is perfectly fine. So for a subscription, I think I paid like I'm paying like $19. And if you're a frequent what do you call it, a frequent 3D designer, you know, you're getting into and you're serious about it, like it's a really good investment. But if you're not, Adobe Dimension also has a lot of really good default materials, which some of them I do use still in my work. But on the other hand, this is where I came for much like the floor. I think I used this wooden floor. Yeah, I think this is the one that I used. Yeah. So this is just for materials to just put on top of your like your walls, your floors. If you have a table, if you have chairs, all that kind of stuff, you can get some really nice materials in here. And so the last one is HDRI. So I don't know how many of you have checked out my other videos. If you haven't, please do so. There's a lot of good info in them, or that you can learn from. So in Adobe Dimension, I would get to that point, but just to clarify on that one, you can create your own light sources by picking custom bulbs and then just setting them and playing around with them, how bright, how close you want the light to be to your objects, or how far away you want them to be to your objects. But in this case, with a really good, almost close to lifelike surround lighting, HDRI Haven is the best. I will show you what it did to my piece. It helped. It is, I mean, HDRI Haven is a haven. Like, you can find really good different types of lightings for different times of the days, different weather conditions that you want, and they're all absolutely free. You are most welcome to donate. Like, I would encourage you if you want to, because I mean, they're definitely giving away a lot of good stuff for free. So but yeah, HDRI Haven is really awesome. Let's jump back into Adobe Dimension. Okay, so after I downloaded, imported my 3D models. So to import a model, pretty much you just where is this? You just go to File, Import 3D Model. Okay, and then you just drop them in there. And I set up my scene. I also take a lot of good references from Pinterest. Pinterest is awesome. Just type in interior design, interior kitchens, whatever, living rooms. Like, a lot of my interior design stuff is like inspiration from Pinterest. And so I pick different layouts from different parts of different houses, and then I just put them together as a mood board and then build up from the ground up from there. But yeah, so after I set up my walls, I have my proportions, and then I put my floor in there. Sorry, I'm not going to go too in depth. I'm just going to talk about my process. I'm not going to really show you step by step, but just talk about my process. Put the floors in, put the chairs however I want them in, and be dragging in and out. Lady Z, I bring her in always just to kind of help see, like, okay, hey, if she was sitting down, would it be a good height for her if she was sitting down? If she's standing against the wall, you know, if she's standing up against this bookshelf or this shelf, is it something that she can easily reach for it, you know, with the picture frame? Yeah, then I just take her out when I'm done double checking my proportions, and then I come back in. And so some of the custom made models that I did use, that I did make in Dimension, was I made this in Dimension. So let me just copy and paste that one. Let me take that out. So for this custom light that I made, all I did was, what did I do? I think yep, this is what I used. So I used a sphere. Okay, and then I dropped a glass material on it. Yep. And then I just picked what was it? I think it was a capsule. Yeah, I picked a capsule. Where is it? This is all default in Adobe Dimension, so feel free to use your stuff. Pick the capsule in there. So I line them up. Okay. And then I just picked my capsule. And I took it up like this. I reduced the height. Let's take it back down. And then I duplicated it and did another one on top. Reduce the size. So what I'm doing is here I'm clicking and holding shift. So let me show you what that looks like. So you click and hold shift, it goes small, goes big, goes small, goes big. But if you only click and hold without hitting shift, you can go up and down. You can like stretch it, okay? So after I change, make it smaller, and then I just stretched it out a bit, like that. Perfect. So there you have my stylish looking bulb frame thing. And then for the lighting, I don't even know what those are called. Please forgive me if you know what it's called. You can share it with us in the description. What did I use? Yes, I used abstract curves. And so with the curves, I just straighten it out. Okay. And so as you can see with this curve, it comes as a group. So just to select only one of them, you can open up the folder and just select and pick the one that you want and turn off the visibility. Or to be just faster, you select the magic wand tool on the top left corner and then click on, you kind of have to zoom in, and then click on the one that you want. Oops. Okay, this is kind of selecting everything, so you kind of have to zoom in. Okay, magic wand to select, and then it just directly jumps to that curve, and so you know the one you want. And so you can, you can delete the other curves if you don't need them, or just keep them in there, or you can, I just turn them off. Okay. And so now, just align. Whoa, what is happening? Oops. You just align it as needed. And so you hold shift and click, reduce the size. Let's zoom in so you can see what's happening. Okay. And then you take it up like that. I think I'm just going to increase the size a bit, just to, yes. I think that's perfect. And I think for the original, I think I made it bigger. They look larger. So what I'll do is I'll increase the size and then make it small. Perfect. And then Control C and Control V to paste. Do another one. And I'll just change the rotation. So I think I used this guy, the Z axis, like 180 degrees, and that's perfect. Okay, select both of them, move them in the middle, and there you go. I mean, that's not exactly perfect, but it's close to what it was. Well, I can probably Awesome. So once that was done, and then I still had them selected, and added a glow material onto it, and then just changed the color, you know, to like a warm one. Maybe took down, I wonder what the intensity was. Let me see what the intensity is. Oh, 50%. Okay, yeah. The intensity down to like 50%. And that was it. And so with the second part that goes up in the roof up here, I just copied and pasted this capsule and just moved it up. And then this metal handle thing was also a capsule, which I copied and pasted, and then clicked on the Y and just extended, then shift, make it smaller to make it like kind of thin, and then click on the Y to make it as tall as possible. And there you have it. And this guy, duplicate that guy, take it up, and there you go. That was my custom light. And with the picture frame, what did I do with this one? Yes, I think I remember what I did. With the picture frame, I used where is it? The hollow cube. Pretty simple. Extend it out on the x-axis. Kind of. So this is, I'm just all clicking and dragging. I'm not hitting shift. If I hit shift, it expands on all four sides. But only on the, just clicking on the axis, it just takes it up or down in its direction. So I just managed the height. I think I rotated like 90 degrees. Okay, and then I think the original ones, they don't have, yes, they're hollow, so I'm just going to take out the back. And so again, to my ultimately good tool, the magic wand tool, just click on the back, hit delete, click on the back again, hit delete, and there you go, perfectly hollow. And so it's still selected, Control C, Control V, duplicate it, change the angle on it, shift it around, however you want it. And yeah, so that's all I did. Pretty simple. And with the picture frame, that was an interesting one. So with the picture frame, I also used the same, what's that model called? The hollow cube. So I used the same hollow cube. I extended it out. Okay. And for this one, I just eyeballed the proportions. I didn't really look up correct dimensions. I just eyeballed, you know, the height of the wall and what would look good with the room. I mean, obviously you don't want it to be like this big of a picture frame. I mean, unless you're designing a gallery of some sort. But yeah, it's totally subjective. And then, I mean, most picture frames are kind of thin, so I just took it back a bit like that. But I am so sorry. What I'm forgetting is I need a backdrop kind of, and I'll show you why I need a backdrop for that one, because this picture frame has a picture in it, and this is actually an actual JPEG, an actual image that I found on Unsplash, which is another awesome resource. So I picked the hollow cube again, just to explain why I need the back, unless you want to create your own back, but okay. So just expand it out, reduce the height, put it back 90 degrees. Awesome. Now just take it back a bit like that. I think that's good. Okay, and so what I did was, let's go to unsplash.com. Let's look for a cool image. Let's look for a city. Something about a cityscape thing. Okay, this is like a vertical image, so it would probably fit. And let's just download this one. And always remember, I mean, if you're ever using this for, they always ask that you would kindly promote the person who did it. So this photo was done by Dawson Love. So hey, shout out to you, Dawson. Thank you so much for this image. Okay, I've downloaded the image. I'm gonna go back to Adobe Dimension. Gonna select my wand tool, select the back, and then I'm gonna go to import as background. Yes. Nope. Okay, how did I do this? Oh, yes. Sorry. Okay, so it's selected. Let's do that again. So you select the back with the wand tool. And then you go here. Image background, file, select Dawson's image. But it fills up the whole background. Back. Sorry guys, let me just double check this. Oh, I see. Okay. So, my bad. So you can, so originally you have to do it, you have to have them in separate models, as in the back, the picture has to be a separate model and the frame has to be a separate model, because I gave the frame a wooden material and then I gave the picture square model, what do you call it, the picture itself. So that's where my mistake is, so I need to correct that. So let's do that again. So I'm just going to delete this guy. I'm still going to use this one. And then I'm going to look for just a plain model, which I can find at the top. I can use it, I'll just use a cube. Okay. So this Y is 75. Let's see actually. Just do it like this. Okay. just align them. Just make it thinner. Okay. Kind of struggling on this, I don't know why. Okay. And I'll just make this frame thicker. There we go. And so that's the frame. That's the image. Okay, so the frame, I just selected a wood. Wooden frame for that one. Nope, that is the wrong one. Wood for that one, and then the image, I went into the cube, went down to base color, image, select file, chose the image, and there it is, voila. And so here you can just work on the repetition, and so it just reduces the size, so depending on what size you want it to be. And just work on the offset. I think I'll just do the repetition. Nice. And there you have it. That's your image. Picture in the frame and the wood, and there you go. Sorry for the the delay on getting it right, but yeah, and that's what I did for the inside frame. And so the lights, these guys at the top here, I think I used the cube. Yes, I used the cube. So let's look for a cube. Oh, it's at the top. Did I use a cube? No, I didn't use a cube. I used a hollow cube. So not just any ordinary cube, a hollow cube is what you need to use. Okay. So with the hollow cube, the idea is, as you can see, let me just explain the mindset behind it. So for this cube, the bottom here is opened to allow light to come out of it, and so is the top open to allow light to come out of it. And if you see in these views, if I just click the render, hopefully it happens fast. You can see here, it's coming out of the bottom, out of the top. So that was my idea. That's just the reasoning behind having it opened, just to make a interesting distribution of light. And so I went to the magic wand tool, select at the top, got rid of it, select at the bottom, got rid of it, and so now you have this kind of frame thing. And then I got a, what you call it, I got a cube, reduce the height of the cube, yeah, so a lot of making stuff when you own an Adobe Dimension is gonna take a lot of like changing angles, changing rotations, changing sizing, and if you're not a fan of this kind of stuff, of like I ain't got time to make all this kind of things, then honestly feel free to just purchase or download free models, and then you would just save yourself all this time. So the reason why I did this was because, I mean, sometimes you have an idea and it's like, I want to execute this idea, but I don't know how. And so no one's selling it, and it's not for free out there, so what do I do? Let me just try to make it myself. And that's when, if it's more complex that Adobe Dimension cannot help you create your ideas, then the next option is either learning how to use other programs like Blender, Cinemax 4D, I think that's what it's called, or Cinema 4D. But yeah, so for those of us who kind of just want to go a more simple and less tasking route, I think Adobe Dimension definitely does help with that. And I forgot the front, so duplicate this guy again, and then rotate it to the front like this, like 90 degrees. Perfect. Well, not really perfect, but it works. Okay. But before I add the material here, so on the inside, to just help with reflection, I added, so select the wand tool, select this side, hit shift, select this side also, hit shift again, and select the bottom, and then give it the material metal. Did it work? Yes, it's loading up right now. And just don't forget this angle too. Go back again, wand tool, select that one, give it a metal. And for the front face, I used what was it? Yes, this 3D printed mesh. Should probably work now. Yes, there we go. So with the mesh, as you can see, this one has, you know, a lot more openings. So I just go into the mesh, settings, and I think, not the offset, I think the repetition. So I think something like that was good. Yes. And the last part is to add your light source. So I just found a sphere and gave it a glow. And there we go. Just reduce the size, shift, click. Okay. And then the same thing for that one. You just go into the glow effect, click the base color, you know, choose, I just like the little warmth, the little orange in there. That's good. Let me take it down to like 150% glow intensity. And just close the front. And that should be good. And that's how I got that done. And then I just found a placement for it. And for these ones, I did fit them at an angle, you know, so I kind of just had them slanted a little bit, as you can see. Yeah, so after I made my models, had them laid out, got my materials on top of them, with the walls and everything, had it all set up, had Madam Z in there, in and out a couple times just to check with the proportions. When all of that was said and done, then now it was time for one of the most important parts was the lighting. And so with the lighting, the first one that I started with, I'm gonna just turn these ones off, was my HDRI. So to add an HDRI, you need to put it on environmental light. And so you click on that one, and then for the image, there's this box here. You click on it, and then you look for your file, and then you add it in there. Okay? And what that does is, the moment you drop it in there, I don't know what the default intensity would come as whatever it was when you downloaded it from HDRI Haven. So then I just try to preview, try to see what, you know, what's happening, where the light's coming from, you know. And so as you can see, it's like a surround, you know, it's all around. You can see the brightness of it. It's almost as if like you're outside, you know, which is cool. Okay. So just with, you know, a couple of tweaks here and there, playing with the intensity, playing with the rotation, I was able to get it to get the sun to directly come into the room at this angle through the glass, which I kind of liked it. So all subjective, depending on which direction you feel comfortable with. That's totally up to you. But you can play the intensity, play the rotation. And so when I was comfortable with the lighting source and where it was coming from, then I was like, okay, that seems pretty good. But the next step, or where I found myself having problems, was at the beginning, okay, let's just kind of zoom out. All my 4 walls were sealed. Okay? Every single wall was completely sealed off. And so what this does, it limits how light is coming in to your setup. Okay? So let's just run the preview again and see. So now you can see the back here is way more dark than it was before, and only the opening on this side is the one that's bringing in the light. And so this is kind of limited on its ability to be realistic, because depending on how your house is built, let's just say, for example, if this is the living room, you definitely have maybe if this is the dining room, you definitely have maybe like a kitchen close by, or a living room close by somewhere on this side of the building. You know, depending on what your setup is. You know, you'd have like a living room somewhere here, or some kind of other living space. And so that other corner of the house or the living space would have another source of light. There might be a window, there might be a door, there might be some other way that light is coming in, unless you're in some kind of enclosed room, which is, I mean, I'm not saying that's wrong, that's absolutely fine, but at the end of the day, it still doesn't have a good feel, because the darkness is just too much. And so it's even kind of harsh. It makes the scene look kind of moody and just, I don't know. And that's, again, subjective, whatever you want. That's totally up to you. But for me, it just seemed kind of moody, and, you know, I like having somewhat of an equal distribution of light and darkness. So eventually I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to open up the back here. And so in my mind, I was imagining that this was another room, or another doorway or something. And then this side was like a living room. Oops. This side was like a living room / leading to, I don't know, another part of the house. Like there was an entryway or something just to help with the light source. And so when we go back in, and let's run the preview, you can see it's dark, but it's not as dark as it was before, because of the light source coming in from this side and from the other side. Okay, so some of you might be comfortable saying, hey, I've thrown in my HDRI, I'm totally fine, I'm done. That's good, fine. But to take it another step, you can also add a custom light or custom lamp. And so I used the sun, which is in here. It's a directional lights. I used the sun and just dropped that in there to kind of assist the HDRI. So it's also pointing from another direction. So I added the sun in there, which was coming in from this way. So the sun, you can see this yellow here. So the sun was coming from this way. I had the HDRI kind of, you know, around, but mainly the strength of the HDRI was coming through this glass. And then my sun custom lighting was coming from this angle here. So some of the lighting will come through here, some of the lighting will come through here. And so I played around with the intensity, the rotation, and the heights and everything. And so when I look at that one too, in the preview, you can see more warmth coming in, which is nice. It's kind of, you can see more of this table frame material, you know, the copper. I think I chose like a black copper or a dark copper feel. So you can see more of the floor, the wood, which is nice, you know. And then another step in more, I was like, you know what, I want to add just a little bit more lighting, but now everything looks too warm. How about I add something cool in there? So then I added another directional light. So I think I picked a circle light from the directional light, a circle light, and just dropped that in there. And so for this one, I'll just turn this off. For this one, you know, I had the color on white. And so played around with the intensity, the rotation, and the height of it. And then it just adds another layer of, you know, this white spot here. So kind of breaking up the warm to something cool. And then I mean, I'm not a professional, but as time goes, hopefully I will somewhat get better at lighting. But for now, this is what I just felt comfortable with, and this is what I just settled with. So hopefully this was helpful for you guys. Sorry if the video went too long, but that's what it's like. You know, you just get in there, you want to get something done, and it just takes way too long. But eventually, you put enough time in it and enough effort, it would just be awesome and beautiful. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your subscription. Thank you so much for your likes. And I love you guys, and thank you for just checking out this video and checking out my channel. Have an awesome day wherever you are around the world. Bye.